Hello everyone, welcome to another video. We are back doing a little bit of maintenance on the LS460. I've had an issue where I've been burning about a quart of oil every 500 miles. No smoke out the tailpipe, no obvious leaks that I looked around with a flashlight. So one thing that I just immediately thought of was the PCV valve. And I looked online and I've heard of people having very similar, if not the exact same issue. All they gotta do is replace the PCV valve. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. The all data says it takes 2 hours, so I've heard. And I know I gotta take the intake manifold off, and I think that's the trickiest part. So we're gonna get that knocked out hopefully before the sun goes down. It is the East Coast. We got a lot of snow. The sun is going down extremely early, so I kind of gotta get on it here. And I'm gonna film the whole thing. Hopefully, there weren't really many good videos showing how to do this. So if you have an LS460 and you're burning oil, try this part. This is the valve itself. This is it. I think it was $8, and then while you're in there you should replace the intake manifold gaskets. So I got that. It was like $15. So this should be an easy job. I was looking at the very shitty videos that were online. It didn't look too bad. So let's get started. We're gonna start by pulling all of the plastic covers off and just looking at what we need to do. And yeah, I'll film the whole thing. Like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing helps a lot. Liking helps a lot. Leave a comment. Let me know how your day was.
Yeah.
Progress thus far looks like a lot, but it's really not. I just took off the 2 air intakes that come in here and all the plastic shrouding in the middle. It was super easy. A few 10 mils and hose clamps, you can figure it out. I'm gonna start tackling this middle area.
No.
We have our first casualty of the day. This hose is extremely crusty, dry rotted, and stiff. Fantastic. That's gonna be a later issue, not right now. Unplugged the throttle body right here, or I'm about to, and then I unplugged the 8 connectors going to these 2 ECUs. These 2 ECUs are set on an aluminum plate, which is sat on the intake manifold. So I think instead of trying to remove these, I'm going to try to just remove the whole plate and get both of them out at one time. Pulling off those 2 ECUs in the bracket is getting us a great view at our intake manifold. We can pretty much see the entire thing right there. 2 things that we've got to tackle left. My camera keeps tweaking, so sorry about that. This harness, this whole X right here, as you can kind of see it, this is all just like a big plastic wiring harness. It's loose like the bolts are, but the wires are kind of tethering it to the car at each pole of the X. So I got to figure out how to get that off, and if not, I'm gonna have to figure out how to wrangle the intake manifold out from under, because I might be able to do that. Second issue, these are coolant lines. I do not want to flush the coolant, so I'm really hoping I can unbolt this, and there's another bolt back there, and just kind of pull them to the side so I can get all this out. If I have to flush the coolant, that's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do that. So we're gonna tackle those next, but yeah, unplugging the ECUs was easy. It was 4 10mm, 1 on each corner, and that's pretty much all done. So I'm gonna keep pulling at this harness and see if I can get it to get out of the way a little more and find our intake manifold bolts.
Yeah.
So my camera died on me, but I got all of the bolts for the intake manifold out. So as you can see, it's loose, it moves. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just kind of gonna start prying at it. We're gonna start trying to get it out. I don't know how I'm gonna get it out, which way I'm gonna get it out. I might, as I told you, this is a wiring harness. I might just end up ripping up all this plastic and like breaking it, because it's breaking and it's so brittle. I can probably snap it with my fingers right here. So I don't know, I might just take all that off and wrap it with some electrical tape in like every couple inches or something just to leave it. But it's kind of the only hindrance blocking this thing, and I don't see a right way of getting it off. So I might just rip it off and keep moving from there. Okay, so it is nighttime. It has been a couple hours. I've been wrangling with this intake manifold and finally got it off. I'll tell you exactly what I did, because there were a couple key things that you do have to do. Number one, these coolant lines, the ones I was talking about that I really didn't want to remove, but they were like a last resort. I removed them. These freed up a lot of room. Second thing, the wiring harness absolutely sucks. It was designed very interestingly. If they had put like a quick disconnect right here, this would have taken me 20 minutes, but of course they did not. This bank, this top left bank right here, is for the coil packs on this side. I think there's like a mechanical fuel pump over there and a couple, I'm not sure if it's a mechanical fuel pump, but there's a few fuel things over there. If you remove that whole bank of plugs, which sucks because that back coil pack is a pain to get to, this whole harness kind of, let's see if I can show it, like it just gives you a lot more wiggle room. And what I did is I pulled the harness down here, pulled it down here, and then I was able to lift the intake manifold, kind of slide it back, tilt it, and pull it out exactly like my hand. So if it was in, I tilted it off the studs here, I like kind of turned it back and then pulled it out the top. So that's how you do it. If you're just watching to watch, then you know that was probably a little more detailed than you need. This wiring harness obviously was covered in that plastic. That was absolute shit nasty. I'm not buying another one because I'm sure it's expensive and hard to find. I'm gonna go get some loom material, and actually removing the plastic made this a lot easier. The plastic was probably like that thick, and there's really not that much wiring here, so it made sliding this out a lot easier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some electrical tape. I'll tape up like whatever this is and a couple little things, and then I'll just get some loom material like this, which I have just in my basement, and I'll just do all the wiring harness so no dust and stuff gets in there. But right now I'm gonna go ahead and just clean everything off camera, try to get a bunch of the dust off and do the wiring harness real quick. I'll show you the after of that before we actually get into replacing the PCV valve, which we can finally see is right down here. So let me do that real quick off camera. I'll get back to you and we'll replace that PCV valve.
Yeah.
Look at that. To actually replace the PCV valve, it's super simple. It's the guy right in the middle of your screen right there. All you need is a 22mm shallow socket. Should slide right on. I'll take it off. I have no good place to set up my tripod so that way you can watch me do it, but it's that right there. Pop it off with the 22, replace it with the new one. That's all you got to do. Here is our old part. Here is our new part. As you can see, this one's got a nice little O-ring. I'm gonna rub a little bit of oil on it just so it doesn't strip or break. And you can see the top half of the old one actually snapped off when I was taking off the hose that goes on this nipple. I'm assuming just because it was old, brittle, and needed to be replaced. So it's the exact same part. Got this one at Amazon for $8. We are going to throw it in and start calling it a day. Not at all calling it a day, actually. This is gonna, it's gonna take like 2 hours to get all this shit back on. There's the new part in place. I was very gentle with putting it in. It's basically like hand tight with a ratchet, so a little tighter than a hand tight, but it's metal going into plastic with no ring. So just be very careful when putting that in, because plastic, especially 150,000 mile heat and cooled plastic, is a little brittle. So that's the part in. So I'm gonna do the rest of this off camera. So it's actually been a couple days since that snap, because long story short, I went to start the car and it ran terribly, and I actually just didn't plug in one of the coil packs. it's a longer story than that, but I was being really stupid, and I just checked my work again this morning. I was out here for 5 minutes after spending hours yesterday trying to diagnose things and follow tails that I didn't need to follow, but we're good. She runs great. There are a couple vacuum leaks just from old hoses, which I'm going to replace those hoses, but that'll be probably off camera. It's not very interesting. So yeah, she's healthy. That's how you do the job. I did this on the side of the road outside my house. Like, I'm not, like, this isn't the hardest job in the world, and it's 20 degrees outside. So if you have any better conditions to work on your car than that, this job should only take you a day, really. And I used common hand tools, ratchets, sockets, pliers, and whatnot. So if you have an LS460, don't be afraid of this job. Yours probably needs it if it's higher mileage and if you haven't had it done recently. It's just healthy for your engine's breathing. If you don't know about the PCV valve, go look up the video. It's basically just like if you don't clear it out, it's like your engine has a stuffy nose. So easy maintenance, got it done. Hopefully this thing stops burning oil, because it's driving me nuts, and I don't like refilling this 9-quart engine. It is damn annoying. So yeah, Lexus is done. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There might be some more videos on this car soon, but probably not. It's just the daily. Obviously, oh yeah, and then obviously it's not fully back together. I'll clip on those last few bits, but it runs. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys.